Welcome everyone. Sorry about that minute and a half delay. Every time I start streaming, it never wants to stream directly to YouTube immediately. So, and I was also messing around with some volume because I know in the previous streams, I know it's been a little difficult to hear me. So, with that being said, while I'm trying to wait for the stream to pull up over here, this version of the walkthrough will be the end of the Isle of Besaid when you say, bye-bye to everybody and you embark on your pilgrimage, and it'll cover basically from the end of Besaid to the beginning and end of the SS Liki boat ride on the way to Killiga. So there's few things that'll happen here, not really a very long part, just one of those little in-betweens. Give me 1 second. Alright, so I'm just going to fix one thing. You're going to get a blue screen here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to leave it there. We're going to prioritize the party chat over the audio. And we are good to go. So, alright. So where we left off, as I said before, was where aren't you? Come on now. Work with me here. Come on. There we go. Alright, so where we left off was at the end of Besaid, right on the beach. That's where we're going to load up at. Yes, I want to load this save data. So, here you're just going to go over to where you had a flashback when, right before you saw the cinematic between Lulu and Waka. You were on this bridge over here. So you're just going to walk on over here, wait for everybody to get up there because you're going to talk to all of the villagers. They're going to give you items. That guy does not give you anything. And one of these kids does. I think it's the one in the red. No, wow. Of course, I picked the wrong one. 50-50 shot. There we go. That's it. There's nothing down here. We're going to go check. See? Nothing. Good to go. Good to embark. Nice little sending off, if you will.
Goodbye.
Alright, so here you're going to have some, storyline conversations, of course, like you always do. And then you're going to have a boss battle. They try to keep it interesting. So what you're going to want to do is, before we start all the conversations, just to knock this stuff out of the way, we're going to go to the back of the boat, and there's a little passageway to the bottom. We're going to go down here, collect a few things, and meet our infamous Owaka. Now, a little bit about Owaka. He is your merchant, so to speak. He sells items, weapons, armors, that kind of stuff. And the idea is, he's going to, here in a minute, basically give you the option to donate money to the Owaka, the 23rd Merchant Extraordinaire, business, if you will, as he just said. So he's building up to be known as one of the top merchants in the world, well, Spira. So when you go to talk to him, he's going to ask if you have any gil that you want to lend. So the goal is, eventually, you'll have two turns, or two chances to donate to him. So once here, and then once on the SS Winnow, which is the boat leaving from Killiga. So the idea is the more money you donate to him, the more of a discount he gives to you. All right. So basically, if you donate anywhere between 0 to 100 gil to him, he will sell every item that every other merchant is selling, but for 2 times the price. All right, so he becomes basically menial and meaningless throughout the entire game. But he does have some pretty good weapons for the challenge, as I've mentioned in an earlier stream, and other challenges for that matter. So, you know, if you want to 100% complete the game, the goal is to donate 10,001 gil or higher. Once you hit that point, he gives you a discount on all the items. Okay, he sells them at 70% cheaper, or I'm sorry, 30% cheaper. So they're at a standard price of 0.7. Okay, so that's the goal, ultimately, you know. And as I said previously in another stream, I think it was like 2 streams ago, you're not really going to be buying that many items. And gil later on, middle game to late game, becomes very, very abundant. Right, so for me, I'm just going to basically donate 1,001, which basically gets me to even with him. Once you donate 1,001 gil to 10,000 gil, he sells all the items for 1.2. So the goal now is to donate 9,000 gil more to him. All right, so that's where we're at there.
I guess it pays to ask. Fine.
Now, of course, if you leveled up in this aid,
merchant empire.
or decided to fight a little bit more, so on and so forth, you'll have more. We haven't really hit our first merchant yet to sell gear that we don't need to make extra money. So we're just going off of this for now, but hopefully by the time we hit the SS Winnow, we will have accumulated 9,000 gil more. So as you can see, we have 900. We need 8,100. So, and you're going to be doing, in Killiga is where I start the battle a lot, which is what you're going to see. So I am going to stream exactly how I play the game and exactly how I run through the game. And that way you can have a visual on where on the sphere grid you should be per each section. All right, because I know in other Final Fantasies, well, really in almost all the Final Fantasies, unless you go to GameFAQs or another custom-made Final Fantasy walkthrough, nobody really depicts what level you should be at this part, or at this chapter, or this phase of the game. And sometimes for me, that's what I look for the most. in a strategy guide is where should I be? Where is a goal? What is the goal I should hit before I leave a zone? Minus getting all the items and talking to everybody, etc., etc. There should be some type of, personal goal to hit so that I know when I move on to the next area, I'm at least on par with everybody, right? So that's the ultimate goal here on what I'm going to do. So as I said before in the first stream, the lucky number is 10. And for the most part, it's between 10 and 15. I will always have 10 to 15 sphere levels before I leave an area. Okay, starting from Kilika on. And then, of course, there's going to be some areas where you're going to get 20 to 25. There's going to be other areas where you get 30 to 50. And those are later on in the game, but you'll see what I mean. They just become more and more, rewarding the further you get in the game, of course. So for now, that's sufficient for him, and we will be able to give him his 10,000. But, alright, we're going to head down here to the power room. Down here, you're going to meet a lady running the power of the boat.
What the heck is that?
What the heck is what?
What is this place?
The power room, like it says on the door.
Yeah, but why the big birds?
What's so strange about chocobo power?
Chocobos? Those are chocobos?
What? You've never seen a chocobo? What kind of backwater island did you come from, anyway?
Miracles and oddities were starting to become daily routine on this trip.
Alright, the main reason why we came down here wasn't for that. It's because down here is the third Albed primer. So L is now C. And if you like some music...
La 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 la.
That's about all of that. Back there is the Crusader's Lodge on the boat, so you can't really go in there. Of course, there's a save crystal there, which we'll be using here momentarily. Over here in the little cabin is the Remedy, and of course these guys, which they're just chilling. But this suitcase has a lot to do with how many potions you have. So if you don't have 20 potions, right, let's say you have what I have 18, I can kick that suitcase as many times as I can to get it, that number, to 20. Okay, so, as I said earlier on in the game, when I was fighting Click and Kamari and all of them, I had to use potions. And Tross, I had to use potions. So that's why I said I didn't really mind using potions, because I knew coming to this point, you just walk up here, hit X, and you'll get potions that would equivalent your inventory to 20. And then if you see I'm at 20 now, kick it again, nothing. So you're good to go. And really, that's all there is really to do on the ship in the bottom section. So we are going to save, and then we're going to go deal with the conversations between Waka and Lulu and Yuna. So at that, and then right after that is when we will go ahead and fight Sin, the boss battle of this area. And just so you know, not every area has a boss. Like Kilika does. Of course, Kilika's boss is an optional boss. And real quick, in here, for the SS Winnow, this door right here, this is the captain's quarters. Keep that in mind so that you know where this is. But, yeah, I mean, for the most part, there's a decent, boss for almost
Come to think of it, I haven't told you where we're going.
But, alright, so
First
just
to
follow
Kilika
along with
Island.
what I'm doing here
Then
on
we
your
change
game.
boats
I'm
and head for
just
Luca.
talking to Waka, gonna talk to...
For that, though,
Gonna
Luna's
run
gotta
up to the
pray at
front of the
temple.
boat, to the crowd, and
I'll
then
be
back
guarding.
to Waka again.
We'll
So
be
just
praying
follow
for the
along.
Aurochs' victory, too. So you come
enjoy
along,
the dialogue conversation here between these
Great
three.
plan.
And then Yuna. And then
Hey,
once the
it
boss
is a
battle's
great
getting ready to
plan.
start, I'll jump back on.
Don't look at me.
Word is, that summoner's got noble blood. I heard she's Lord Braska's daughter. You don't say.
Lord Braska's daughter? So, is Yuna's father famous or something?
She's the daughter of High Summoner Braska. You saw his statue at the temple. Lord Braska defeated Sin 10 years ago. Yuna's the heir to a great legacy.
It's tough when your father's famous.
Huh?
Waka's a bit lacking. in the imagination department.
Huh?
Thanks, Lulu. I'll keep that in mind.
The wind. It's nice. You're a blitzball player, aren't you? From Xanarkin, right?
You hear that from Waka?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Waka. Waka doesn't believe me at all.
But I believe you.
Huh?
I've heard in Xanarkin, there is a great stadium, all lit up, even at night.
Huh?
Great blitzball tournaments are held there, and the stands are always full.
How do you know that?
A man named Jack told me. He was my father's guardian.
Checked. My father. His name is Jecht.
Amazing! You know, our meeting like this must be the blessing of Yevon.
Sounds like him, but it can't be him.
Why not?
My old man, he died. 10 years ago, off the coast of Xanarkin.
I'm sorry.
He went out to sea for training one day, and never came back. And no one's seen him since then.
Why, that's the day that Jecht came to Spira.
But,
It's true, I first met Jecht 10 years and 3 months ago. I remember that was the day my father left. The date fits, doesn't it?
Yeah, but how would he get here?
You're here. Are you not?
All right, so that's the end of our dialogue here, and this is just going to lead into the cinematic, of course, for the entrance of our next boss. Real quick, on the... I remember something I said. Oh. Right after this fight, you're going to get a cinematic, okay? So those that are watching, I want you to understand that once we arrive in Kilika, I'm going to save at the very first save sphere. I'm going to cut the stream off, okay? Since I'm doing this video walkthrough in sections, I'm going to, that would of course end the SS Liki section. So I'll cut the stream off right after we save, and then I will reopen the stream. You just got to give me like 2 to 3 minutes or whatnot, so I can just type in everything on the PS4 for that particular stream, name, etc., description, whatever. So just keep in mind, if you have me unsubscribed, have it notify you when I go live. Perfect. There you go. All right, so this is actually a 2-part boss. All right, so the first boss is you're going to be fighting
What do you think
Sin,
you're doing?
but more or less his fin,
Stick a harpoon
and he's
in it,
going
and
to
we'll all get
spawn
dragged
those
under.
little sin scales.
Sin is going for Killica. We gotta distract it.
You know, right at the beginning.
Our
So when
family
that
summoned
happens, I'll show you.
Killica.
But once you're
Forgive
done
us,
with
Lady
that,
Summoner.
you're going to have a secondary fight. Okay, and the second fight is only for Waka and
Wait.
Titus. And you'll see
Oh,
in this
boy.
game that any fight that's underwater, you will have a set party for that. And it will always be Titus, Waka, and later on in the game it will be Riku. So for now, you just fight with Waka and Titus. Now that fight, a little bit on the, you know, it's a little bit more difficult. You know, this is when the fights start to ramp up a little bit in difficulty. So again, to me, it's an easy fight. You just got to make sure you pay attention to your timing. You look at your CTV windows, heal when you want to heal, use overdrive if you got them, you know, whatever the case is. Now, here, as I said, you're going to fight Sin, his fin. His fin has 2,000 hit points, and these little Sin scales right here, they got about 200 hit points. So the idea is here you're introduced to your next party member, Kimahri, that we fought in the save. Okay, so the idea is when you start to play with these three characters, all right, you're going to use Titus and Kimahri to take out only 2 of the Sin scales. You don't want to kill all 3. Every time you kill all 3, he will respawn 3 more. Okay, so you don't want to do that. Now, there is a trick. Okay, and a lot of people were asking me if I was going to touch upon this trick. Okay, there is an AP trick to this fight. Okay, what you do is you keep killing all of the Sin scales that keep spawning. The fin literally does no damage to you whatsoever in this fight. All right, it doesn't harm you at all. It's useless. All it's going to do is on your CTV window, that little window on the right hand side that you see me moving, every time you see the word boss, he's just going to move from left to right, or to middle to right. That's it. That's all the fin's going to do. So the only thing that's really going to hurt you will be the Sin scale. So with that logic, keep Titus, Kimahri, and Yuna in your party, and slash the heck away at Sin scale until you get bored, until you get, you know, whatever the case is. All right. And for the purposes of the walkthrough, I have been going over in my head whether or not I want to do it, you know, because it is something that it could be beneficial later on. So I've decided to give my lucky number here that I use for the entire game. I'm going to kill between 10 and 15 waves of the Sin scale, and you'll see the AP that I'll get for that. So for each Sin scale you kill, okay, you get 2 AP. All right, so here it's 6. So figure all the way up there, you're getting at 10 waves, you're getting 60 AP just for that alone. And at this stage in the game, you're so low, right, in your levels that it's going to level you up a few. So it's going to help a lot when you get to Killica. So with that logic, also if I get an overkill, all right, then it's 3 AP. Same concept when it comes to Sin, which from here on out, anytime you come into a contact with a boss, the objective for that boss isn't just defeating him, it's overkilling him. You want to overkill every single boss you can now. And the way to do it with this is to use Valfor. All right, so you're going to ramp up his overdrive, and boom, that's it. Then once he has Energy Blast, you're going to get the fin down to, let's say, about 200 life. Energy Blast him, and it's going to overkill him. So then you'll get the overkill AP for that, which is 15. So, all right, so for this time, I'm going to cut the mic. I'm just going to battle for a little bit. You'll see how this battle goes along, but we'll kill between 10 and 15 waves just to get some AP to help us out. Talk to you soon.
How many of these things are there? What? We hit the fin first?
Just a little side note, I brought in Waka just to kill the enemies a little quicker. You can switch unit in and out as needed, okay? Like if you are really needing healing, then switch Waka out for Yuna. But in the meantime, you know, as you just saw, a crit can take these guys out, so you'll get a crit every now and then. So just makes the matter a little bit easier. Another side note, of course, is to when you'll see that these little sin scales start to do something called wings is flickering or whatever. If you don't kill them before their next turn, they do a move called spines, and it just deals like 60 to 100 damage to you. You know, kind of meddlesome. It's just a nuisance. So currently, we're at about 5. This is number 5. We're going to do about 15 of them. So since you see how quick they're moving along, all right. So just bear with me, and then we'll enjoy the nice little AP gained at the end. Another thing you could do, and I've been thinking about this, if you want to make matters a little bit easier, I wouldn't really say easier, but I had mentioned earlier on in the Isle of the Sage, well, in the Albed and Isle of the Sage streams about cheer. You can use cheer in a limited amount of times. Of course, there's no, mana cost to it at all. So the thing is that it'll cap out eventually. So for the sake of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it 5 times. Okay, and after 5 times, Kamari should be able to one-shot every single person. Okay, so that's the goal. So that's what I'm going to be doing, just so you know. All right? Prelude there, as you just saw, you can see now that Kamari does do a lot more damage, and with that overkill, helps us out a lot. So this is something you could do in the beginning, is just use cheer 5 times. That's what I just used it the 5th time. And that Waka is actually dealing damage too. So, for now we're just going to bring Nina out, and then we will switch her for Waka. Well, so she can heal Waka. So you see, Kamari's doing 300 damage. What we're going to do, this is one of the aspects of the game that I haven't really focused too much on, nor have I decided to take the time to see where it can cap out at. So after I heal up Waka here, I'm going to remove Waka, take Titus, and keep using cheer. And see if I can get Kamari high enough to just overkill every monster to see if it caps before that or not. So it's a good thing to see that you guys can see it on stream as well. So this would be number 6. And we're also on wave 11. I think we're on wave 12, but I'm going to give myself one extra. So, 303. Let's see if that goes up at all. There is a leeway damage limit, so I'm waiting to see if he deals even more or less. Still within the leeway damage. We'll try it again. Keep going to see if it goes higher. Yep, alright, so it's about 5-6 times is the cap. So that's good to know. So there you go. So we've all learned something new. That'll probably be the last time I ever have to figure something else out on my own, though. I never really had to bother to use cheer. You never really have to. It's, again, a meaningless ability for later on in the game. And, that's really where the abilities matter. Even Waka overkill. Perfect. So we're going to say we're on wave 12 for the sake of it, because I lost count. And I know I said 10 before, I just don't remember where it was. So every single person will one-shot these guys now and do things about it a little bit easier. More overkills left and right. That's perfect. This is what we're hoping for the more AP, of course. Even though it's such a little amount of AP gain, it's still tremendous at this stage in the game. So, do this for as long as you so desire. I have seen people sit in this fight for 3 hours. Tell you what, our elapsed time currently is 40 minutes and 41 seconds. We're going to bring this up to 45 minutes. Once 45 minutes hit on that marker is when we'll start killing Sin. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 more waves. That'll bring us up to 45 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and kill the boss. What we're going to do is we are going to pull, either Titus or Kamari out, and then we're going to bring in Lulu, and then whoever we then pull out between Titus and Kamari, we're going to hold out for Yuka. And then we're just going to slash away at the boss until it gets down to around 200 to 400 life. We're going to bring out Valfor, get his overdrive up, and then we're going to blast him away with the overdrive. And then the other thing is as I said, right after this is we're going to have another boss fight. And what happens is that the AP gets accumulated between both fights. So we're going to have an immense amount of AP at this, which is great. And it also may, depending on how much experience or AP we get in Kilika, we may not even have to level up in Kilika. So this is kind of a middle way to cut everything out that way. Even though I would advise to still get 10 sphere levels at that point. Alright, so now, it's as if we're fighting the fight for the very first time. We are going to kill 2 of these sin scales. And that's it. Now the third one's going to be left up. Okay? And now, since it's going to be Waka's turn, Waka is going to focus on the fin now. You want to bounce up to that. Switch with left and right arrows between your targets. We're going to take Titus out for Lulu. I personally like to use fire, even though there's no elemental. I just feel like fire always gives a little bit more damage. Get the unit in here. Do a little bit of a cure. Try to make sure Titus and Waka are at the highest level of health that they can be. Because again, those 2 are going to be the ones that are going to be sitting in through the next, battle, so to speak. So we're going to bring Titus out and defend with him. Just so we can heal. Titus and Walker are at full life, so we're going to remove him and bring in Kamari, and just leave Kamari in for the time being. Again, you're not going to die, so you're good to go. So the boss is down to around 800 life now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to summon Valfor. Now what I'm going to do is use the ability on him called Boost. So the Sin Scale is going to attack him. It's going to basically charge up my overdrive gauge as fast as possible. Perfect. After this, we should be able to. There we go. All right, so Valfor's overdrive is full, so we're going to go ahead, even though he's at about 500 life. I don't know if it's going to overkill him, but we're going to do it. 5 extra AP is a little trivial in comparison to the amount of Sin Scales we want to pay. There we go. So we got the overkill. Perfect. So now we go to fight the Sin Spawn. Now Sin Spawn, I didn't explain this in the very first stream, but Sin Spawn are monsters that basically you have to kill quick, otherwise Sin will return to retrieve them. And of course nobody wants Sin to return after he causes destruction to everybody. So it's monsters that fall from Sin itself. So. There you see Waka going to look for Titus. Alright, so Sinspawn Achilles, that's how I pronounce it, of course, Achilles, has about 2,000 life. Alright, so, and he will also have these 4 little piranhas around him at all times. And what he'll do is he'll send them off to attack you one at a time. And then after the 4 are done attacking you, they'll respawn. So, the idea here is kind of a confusing strategy. What do? Don't worry about the piranhas. Just heal up when you can with potions, high potions, whatever you got. And just focus on using the ability from Waka called Dark Attack to, blind the Sinspawn, okay? That way when he goes to basic attack you or auto attack you, it won't hit you, So, and the only thing that really does a lot of damage is this move called Blender. So be mindful of that. Heal up with that afterwards with Waka. And leave Titus to basically be your main damage dealer. Again, you can use Cheer here if you so desire, but again, I find it trivial to use, so that's just my personal opinion. So there you saw we just used Dark Attack. Now that move itself, Drain Touch, it'll attack you, and whatever damage it deals to you, it heals him for it. So, basically using Dark Attack negates him even gaining life whatsoever. And as you see, the piranhas are just sent to attack you. Yeah, they love Titus today. And keep in mind, Dark Attack is only viable for three turns on the boss. So after the 3rd time, you'll see that nice little dark spot disappear. You'll have to use it. Now here's Blender. This will deal decent damage, so we're going to have to heal up the Titus after this. Well, I'll heal up with Waka. Alright, if you can tell, actually I'm going to heal with Titus only because he no longer has darkness. So we're going to have to reapply it. Oh, that was my fault. I forgot to use Dark Attack. Whoopsie. Well, you'll get to see Drain Touch, how it works. There we go. His next move is going to be Blender. Bring me down to about 100 life. Again, it's also good to remember the numbers. Remember, what to use if you can skip and get in a little bit more damage before doing something. That's great too, of course. He should be dead here momentarily. Probably was a wasteful potion. No, it wasn't. Not bad. Right. One more Drain Touch. There it is. Gone. Alright, not bad. So there you go. So that's your first double boss of the game. There will be plenty. Not too bad. Of course, the longest time of all of this was, fighting the Sinspawn, or Sinscale, and here you go. This is your reward for fighting all that. So you see, Titus had 2 sphere levels, he went up to 8. Waka and Yuna had 1, they went up to 7. So that's a pretty decent advance, okay? Level up for now, that's basically like 80 to 85% of a leveling in a zone. So that's not bad. And that's 8 sphere levels for Titus too. So, you know, to me that's a very good. And if you can see right there, we got 98 power spheres, which is absolutely perfect. And of course we have ability spheres, mana spheres, and I believe we already have achieved some speed spheres. So what we're going to do is when we get to Kilika, we're going to level up our characters, then I'll stop the stream, and then I'll restart it a few minutes later for Kilika. So just bear with me as we go through this amazing cinematic here.
When Sin attacked Xanarkand that day, I woke up in Spira. I kept hoping it would work in reverse, too.
I will defeat Sin. I must defeat Sin.
I was just fooling myself. Maybe it was that day, on the sea, under the burning sun. I started to give up hope. I was in a foreign world. I wasn't going home. This was my new reality, and I was stuck in it for good.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that cinematic. It's one of my favorites. Just goes to show you the sheer power of Sin and whatnot, what he does to villages, so to speak. You would think he would have destroyed the whole village, though, with power like that, but it's okay. Sometimes the game doesn't make sense that way, but it is what it is. But alright, so we've arrived here in Kilika.
Greetings.
I'm going to be getting off the boat here. There's your save sphere.
I've come from the
We're going
temple
to go
and be
ahead,
saved.
touch that, save,
Milady
and
Summoner!
then we're going to
If
level
there
up the
is
sphere
no other
grid.
summoner
So
here,
I'm not going to
please
go
allow me
deep
to
into
perform the
depth
sending.
on what to do, how
Thanks,
to do it. Just
Liki.
follow along with that, with
Our
what I
loved
do.
ones.
If you have more
We feared they would become
sphere levels than I
fiends.
do, then you already know how to do it.
Please,
If not, if you're
take me to
following
them.
along, then just, you know, as I said, do what I do. The sphere grid, you have to go through your own zone anyway, for the most part, before you can venture off. And later on in the game is when you'll start getting teleport spheres on the sphere grid, where you can teleport to another node
We'll go see what we can do
and
to help
bounce
in
around
town.
the sphere grid to different areas. But until that time, you're kind of stuck where you're going. So it's a one-dimensional sphere grid at the moment. So here we go. We'll just touch the game, everything up, and here we go. So as you can see here, this is Lulu's section of the sphere grid, this bottom right-hand corner of it, and you see her main spells: fire, thunder, you know, blizzard, water, all that. So we are going to move, and as you see, I'm moving in between two nodes. It's just easier to save time. Probably not going to be able to level them up all the way because of the limited other spheres that I do have, but for now, Lulu and Titus are the main two I'm going to focus on. All right, then we're going to go ahead and go to Yuna. Yuna uses a lot of the ability spheres in the early stages of the game. That's why it's so detrimental to leveling in a way. You know, why you can't really level up in Besaid, if you will. We may actually just fall right underneath. It's perfect. Not bad at all. And just to level up Kamari. Now, Kamari, the way I like to do it, now I'll show you his section of the sphere grid. Alright. So on a wider range, this is the smack dab center of the map. Alright, so what I do is I like to bring him up this way. Alright, to get this accuracy by 2 points, and I'll bring him down and he'll come around, end up here, then he'll backtrack all the way around down here, he'll go over here and then get this section of his little circle, right, and he'll wind up over here. Okay, so typically, unless I obtain a level 1 key lock, okay, so I would like to bring him over here to obtain these two abilities, which are Riku's, Steal and Use. But to get there, you need a level 1 key lock here, and you also need a level 1 key lock here. So you need to get 2 level 1 key spheres. And I believe that the time you'll get that is when you defeat, if you can push the Chocobo Eater off the ledge in the Mian High Road. So, and at that stage, it'd be great, but, you know, there's only so much you can do. You'd have to do a lot of leveling and a lot of hoping along the way. So we may go down that route, but we'll see when we get there. It's a lot of sphere levels. So, but for the most part, if I don't, he just goes down Wakka's whole sphere grid first, then he'll backtrack to Riku's or Orin's. So for now, we're just going to move him up. And there we go. So we have successfully leveled everybody up. There's no sphere levels left. We're going to return to the main menu, and you'll see now the statuses of everybody. You see some Wakka's got increased hit points, so does Kamari. And you'll see the magic on Lulu is a 24, his strength is 16, his is a 17. Magic on Yuna is 20, and 18 for Kamari. So still balanced out. And you'll see that Kamari actually has 17 magic damage, which is insane for him, you know, for a character at this stage. So, as a beginning stat, if you will. So, all right. Now we're going to go ahead and save. All right. And now that I've saved, that is the end of this section. All right. The next section, I'm debating whether or not I'm going to do it tonight since it is 12:30 at night. So if I don't come back on the live stream here tonight, that's why. It is late. I got to get up early in the morning. But what I'll do is tomorrow morning, I'll go ahead and open up the stream again if I don't do it tonight. And we'll go ahead and do the Kilika section. And then after Kilika is the SS Winnow section. And then the very, very long part is Luca. That is a big, big section. So that's going to be a couple hours stream right there. So there's a lot to go over there, a lot to tell you, a lot to show you. So many items to get. The introduction of Blitzball, you know, obtaining a new character, well, re-obtaining a character. So there's just a lot to do in that stream. So till we get to them, you know, as I said, our next section is Luca. I hope everything up to this point was informational. You know, you guys, I hope this helped you out. I hope that trick with the AP, if you didn't know it, you know, I'm glad to let you know about it because it is one of the best areas to sit at. I mean, seriously, in that fight, you can sit there for hours and max out 99 sphere levels. I've seen people do it. I don't know how long it would take, but I do know that it's at least 3 hours. So if you got time on your hands, why not go ahead? You know, can't hurt, right? So, all right, fellas and ladies, this is Fusion. Hope you enjoyed this section of the walkthrough. And tune in more. Subscribe, like, follow, Facebook, Twitter, all these pages will be linked in the description in upcoming videos. I'm still working on art for the banners and want everything to look pretty. But any comments, concerns, questions, suggestions, ideas, etc., leave them in the comment section here, or add me on the PlayStation 4. My user ID tags are Hawk_Fusion_22, or my main account is FusionX22. Y'all have a good night.